Welcome to the Megacast. I'm Tyler Keefe in the studios of our flagship stations, 89.3 Lakes FM and Civic Center TV on Comcast, Channel 15, and AT&T, Channel 99, where you can also find us in the Birmingham-Bloomfield area on Birmingham Area Municipal Access and on City Cable 15 of Southfield. Join us live on Channel 10 in Waterford every day on the Media Network of Waterford and live to tape on Channel 10 in Orion Township and Lake Orion on Orion Neighborhood Television, otherwise known as ONTV. You can also find us on the radio in the Birmingham, Bloomfield, and Troy areas on the Biff Radio Network, a service of the Bloomfield Hills School District. Find us online on our Facebook pages at Civic Center TV 15 and at Lakes FM, on our website, civiccentertv.com, and beginning at 11 o'clock for the Michigan Megacast on My Michigan TV, otherwise known as MyMy, at mymytv.com, where you can also learn more about downloading their free MyMyTV apps for your smartphone and your smart TVs. All that information is on our website, civiccentertv.com/megacast, where you can also find all of our programs on demand, as well as each individual interview as well. Then let's head over to our coronavirus page, civiccentertv.com/coronavirus, where we have links to the most up-to-date information on COVID-19 from reliable expert resources at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, and the Oakland County Health Division, so that you can stay up to date on everything you need to know about the spread of COVID-19, precautionary tactics such as masking, as well as vaccinations and booster shots. Also on a coronavirus page at civiccentertv.com/coronavirus, we feature articles from many journalistic outlets all throughout the state of Michigan in order to keep you updated on COVID-19 and other stories making headlines across the Great Lakes state. Our top story today from the Detroit News: the House Budget Committee plans would require state employees to work in an office. The GOP-led Michigan House will require state workers from several departments to return to in-person work by October of this year, or risk losing their funding for the year under proposed budgets making their way through the legislative process. The department budgets that include the boilerplate requirement advanced from House subcommittees last week and are headed to the full House Appropriations Committee very soon. There are bills that could be amended before referral and eventually will be negotiated with the Senate for a joint budget proposal. The boilerplate language was first reported by Bridge, Michigan, and there's a link to the original reporting in this article. Governor Whitmer's $74 billion budget proposal did not include provisions requiring in-person work, but there are plans to return some workers to in-office work by May 1st of this year. House Appropriations Committee Chairman Thomas Albert argued Friday that taxpayers have suffered enough because of staffing restrictions and state government office closures during the pandemic. Quote, "Everyone knows about the issues with the Unemployment Insurance Agency and the Secretary of State, but the concerns are broader than that," says the Lowell Republican. He continued on saying, quote, "State government functions better and serves taxpayers better when employees are interacting with customers and each other in person. It's past time to get the state government fully working again," and closed quote. Michigan's Unemployment Insurance Agency offices reopened for appointments in June of 2021 after months of claims bottlenecked and claim centers unable to keep up with claimant calls. Secretary of State offices reopened for limited essential services in June of 2020, but gradually began taking more customers by appointment, and in June of 2021, the department said it was taking walk-ins in cases where staff was available. About 49% of Michigan's 47,000 state employees have been working remotely during the past 12 months, but all departments are expected to return to their quote-unquote approved work schedules on May 1st, said Caleb Buse, a spokesman for the Department of Technology Management and Budget. Quote, "The approved work schedules can be hybrid in office or remote based on the individual employee and their role," Buse said. Continuing on, Buse also said, quote, "Those with schedules that include in-office days will be expected to begin working those days in the office after May 1st of this year," and closed quote. The department budgets being considered by the House require employees who worked in office prior to February 28th of 2020 to return to in-person office work by the start of the new fiscal year, which is October 1st, 2022. The provisions would be required under the plan for state departments managing natural resources, agriculture, environment, insurance, regulatory, and licensing duties prisons, and transportation. The budgets also require several departments to prepare reports related to 2021 on how many employees were authorized to work from home, how many worked from home, and estimated cost savings resulting from remote work, and how much office space was reduced. The state has said it has been seeking to reduce its lease footprint since before the pandemic, and that focus has increased during the pandemic when several office buildings sat largely vacant. From March 2020 through March of 2022, the state has canceled 18 of its leases, totaling a reduction of about 286,000 square feet. Buse said. Albert said Friday he was still seeking ways to further reduce the state office's space, but said, quote, independent of that effort, it's time for state workers to return to the office, and closed quote. He continued on saying, quote, even workers at Google in the Silicon Valley are headed back to the office. Private sector workers across Michigan are headed back to the office, and many returned months ago. State government should do the same for employees who were based in an office prior to the pandemic. That full article from the Detroit News on our website, civiccentertv.com/coronavirus. Additionally, making headlines there as we continue to see remnants of regulations and requirements from the pandemic begin to slowly fade away. Michigan State University will be dropping its mask mandate in May, but it will keep its COVID-19 vaccination rule for next year. Michigan State University is dropping its mask requirement for most indoor campus spaces next month, according to a letter to students, faculty, and staff on Friday from MSU President Dr. Samuel Stanley. But those who work at or attend the East Lansing campus will be required to have COVID-19 vaccinations and a booster shot for the full 2022-2023 school year or have an approved exemption. Last week, the University of Michigan announced it will continue to require students, staff, and faculty to be up to date on vaccinations for COVID-19 through at least the fall of next year, 2022's semester. The university expects to announce a decision on whether face masks will continue to be required during the school's spring term, which begins on May 3rd. At MSU, both the early detection program of saliva testing for those with medical or religious exemptions and PCR testing provided at the MSU Clinical Center will end on May 13th. Those with medical or religious exemptions no longer will be required to routinely test. Quote, we continue to see a sustained drop in COVID-19 cases on campus, and with the wide availability of PCR, antigen, and home testing in the community, the EDP and clinical center testing that were crucial to our success earlier in the pandemic can safely be discontinued now, says President Stanley. At MSU, about 94% of students, staff, and faculty are vaccinated, and 86% have a booster shot. That compares to a vaccination rate of 65% for the state as a whole. At U of M, 98% of students are vaccinated and 91% have had a booster shot. So at least they beat Michigan State at something. Confirmed COVID-19 cases have plummeted in Michigan since December, though they increased this week. As of Wednesday of last week, the rate of cases was 11 per 100,000 residents compared to a high of 170 per 100,000 residents in mid-January. College campuses, including Michigan State and the University of Michigan, were hotspots for COVID-19 outbreaks in the fall of 2020, leading to public health emergencies and campus-wide quarantines of tens of thousands of students. Michigan State University closed down most of its dorm rooms for fall of 2020, and virtually all classes at many colleges and universities were held online. This past fall, however, outbreaks dropped precipitously at college campuses, and the schools were often safer for COVID-19 than their surrounding communities. University officials attributed the decline in COVID-19 on campus to the broad availability of vaccines. The announcement by the state's two largest universities mirrors similar moves by the state's public K-12 schools. When school began in September, almost two-thirds of K-12 schools K-12 students enrolled in schools that required face coverings. The vast majority of those mandates have now been lifted. One notable exception is face masks are still required in Ann Arbor Public Schools, one of the state's largest school districts. Quote, it's clear our COVID-19 mitigation efforts were successful in allowing Michigan State University to continue most in-person activities and classes safely, Stanley wrote, continuing on. As we have since early 2020, we will continue to monitor and respond to the pandemic pandemic as necessary. That full article and supporting materials from our friends at Bridge, Michigan on our website, civiccentertv.com/coronavirus. Lastly, making headlines on our coronavirus page from the Detroit Free Press, snowfall of up to 3 inches is expected throughout Metro Detroit on Monday. That would be today. The calm of Easter Sunday will end Monday in a flashback to winter with a snowfall of up to 3 inches, according to the National Weather Service. Monday morning's commute should be snow-free, but soon after about 10 a.m., which now we are soon after about 10 a.m., forecasters expect snow to begin falling and continue to do so until about 5 p.m. this afternoon. The rain in Kansas City that canceled Sunday's Royals versus Tigers game will move northeast overnight, meeting a colder front, quote, coming down from the northern plains, and closed quote, to abruptly change the weather over the Great Lakes, says Trent Frey, a staff meteorologist at the Weather Service's regional station located in White Lake Township. Over southeast Michigan, Monday's precipitation could be a mix of snow and rain, but it's likely it'll be mostly snow, Frey said. Thermometers in Metro Detroit will drop to around freezing overnight, and then they'll rise to mid-30s during the day. They say they dropped to below freezing overnight, and they are expected to be in about the mid-30s today. Quote, although temperatures aloft will be below freezing, so the snow will stay frozen until it hits the ground, Frey said. Because the ground, including pavement, has warmed with the spring sunshine, some snow will melt on contact while the rest accumulates and could slow Monday afternoon's commute. Heavier snow may fall to the northeast in St. Clair County and in the eastern part of the thumb of Michigan, Frey said. The forecast caused the city of Detroit's floriculture team to cancel plans for an outdoor event aimed at showcasing the city's campaign to spread blooming flowers across the city. The city has planted 2 million daffodil bulbs, 4 times its previous maximum, in partnership with the nonprofit Daffodils for Detroit, said spokesperson Corey McIsaac. The event will be rescheduled soon to show residents and visitors how to find, quote, those awesome clusters of color, and closed quote, throughout the city. McIsaac said in an email that will be the case. Monday's throwback to winter should make next weekend's weather all that more welcome in Metro Detroit, as highs for Saturday and Sunday are predicted to be in the mid-70s. All those headlines on our website, civiccentertv.com/coronavirus, as well as those ever helpful links to accurate, up-to-date information from the experts on COVID-19 at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention in Atlanta, Georgia, the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services in Lansing, and the Oakland County Health Division in Pontiac. We have a great program ahead on this Monday edition of the Oakland County Megacast. Coming up next, we'll speak to mixed media mosaic artist Michelle Sider, who has some of her work on exhibit at the Janice Carrick Gallery in West Bloomfield, and then Dr. Pam Clark, who is the director of the women's program at Grace Centers of Hope in Pontiac. That's all up next. This is the Oakland County Megacast.
Did you know that nearly 3.31 million Americans don't get their annual checkup? Going to the doctor regularly is extremely important and is a crucial factor in maintaining good health. Make sure you are visiting your local doctor often and telling them about any health concerns you have. For more information, contact your local healthcare provider. This message is brought to you by WBHS Digital Media Arts Program and 89.3 Lakes FM.
People are getting out to walk and bike in higher numbers. More vulnerable road users and higher speed traffic can be a dangerous combination. Crash severity has increased, so if you're driving, be sure to slow down and look for people. There's no need to speed. If you're biking, ride with traffic. If you're walking, avoid stepping into the road if possible. If you have to walk in the street, walk facing traffic. Learn more at walkbikedrivesafe.org.
When times get dark, we can't see the help that's all around us. When you don't know where to turn, let 211 be your guiding light.
How can I help you?
Our guides are ready to connect you with the help you need. For help with food, healthcare, mental health, and other resources. Call 211 or visit 211.org. 211. Get connected, get help.
pleased to be joined now by a mixed media artist, Michelle Sider, whose current works you can find over at the Janice Carrick Gallery in West Bloomfield Township. Michelle, thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me here. I'm very excited to speak with you.
And glad to have you with us. First, can you tell us about your background and kind of how you got into these forms of art that you produce and what drew you to it as a career?
Well, I've always been creative. My mom tells a story that as an infant, I was playing with the sunbeams that came through the window. So and she helped to encourage me. And my aunt was an artist, among other things. So I had some great examples. But it was really my high school art teacher who said to me that I should consider going into art as a profession. And I hadn't really considered it seriously until then. So I have her to thank, Mrs. Benson. And I went to art school at University of Michigan, and I was mainly a painter. I've been a painter for many, many years. And then I had a little circuitous route. I became a psychologist and used art therapy, art teacher, and now I'm doing my art full-time. But when I started back 7 years ago to do my art full-time, I really switched from painting to glass mosaic. And it is a medium that I just love. I love the glass. I have some of it behind me. You can see some of it reflecting. There's different types of glass that reflect in different ways, and you can put it in at different angles. And I'm having a whole lot of fun incorporating my painting background with a whole new medium. And kind of doing this a little later in life, I have some things to say that I wouldn't have wanted to, or didn't have in mind to say when I was working, when I was younger.
So you began your journey as an artist as a painter, and now you're doing work more with glass art. And I see the works behind you. For those that are listening on the radio, highly encourage you to go to civiccentertv.com/megacast later on in the day and view this. You can see some of Michelle's work behind her in the background of her interview. These glass works, you said that behind you, this is all glass, correct?
Correct.
And so they look like paintings. They're made of glass, but they look like paintings. And you're labeled as a mixed media mosaic artist. Can you give us a little bit of insight in what that means to be a mixed media artist and create art that looks and is of a variety of different art forms?
Well, as I said, I started out as a painter, and the works that mixed media to me now, I'm still painting a bit, but I'm mainly doing glass mosaic. And the reason why I say mixed media is because I am incorporating a whole bunch of different things into the works. So for those people who can see, behind me, I have one of my recent series which, on the side of the road, where I am collecting and using different things that I've collected from the side of the road, such as bicycle gears and pieces of metal and things like that, rocks, and incorporating it in with the glass. It's mainly glass that I'm using, but the other piece to the other side of me, which is another series I'm doing, has a handmade jewelry. I've been researching and creating handmade jewelry that is going into these pieces that tell some historical information. So mixed media is, I'm kind of having fun discovering different types of glass from all over the world. Some are chunky and thick, and some are iridized, and I place them in at different angles to create different effects. So I'm actually not just showing light in my pieces, but I'm actually creating light by the angles in which I place the different pieces to see and have something fun that changes color throughout the day. And it's really a fun experience to look at. And my painting background, you can see, I actually, underneath each one of my mosaics is a fully realized painting. I spend a lot of time drawing and painting and figuring out what I'm going to do before I start. So yeah, I'm incorporating a lot of different aspects from my background into my pieces now.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see these because, as I mentioned earlier, they do look like paintings. They're made of glass, and now that you mentioned that you have actual paintings behind them, the glass element of it does give it a certain depth and a certain three-dimensional nature to it that really adds to these pieces. How much of an impact has your painting background had, or an influence has that had on the composition, particularly, of your glass pieces?
It's huge, actually. Actually, I'm going to be teaching a class online about it soon. It is a big part. I really thank my classical instructors for learning about composition and value and color theory, and how to direct somebody's eye to a certain part of a piece. One example I use, a lot of people are familiar with Vermeer's painting of the woman with the pearl earring, where that's what everybody looks at is the pearl earring, because he's created a focal point that's bright for the pearl and everything else around it is dark. So the idea is that as an artist, you can actually lead the viewer's eye to where you want them to look and what you want them to see, and actually how you want them to, hopefully, expressing an idea and a feeling through the colors, through the composition. So it's for me, it's critical in how I put these pieces together. And then the fun, it's kind of another fun added experience of then creating that imagery with glass. And the glass is not transparent, it's actually opaque. And the colors are very, very rich.
And so you can see a lot of Michelle's work at the 4th Annual Michigan Regional Glass Exhibition. That is at the Janice Carrick Gallery in West Bloomfield. That's on the campus of the Jewish Community Center on Drake Road in West Bloomfield Township. That's running now through May 18th over there at the Janice Carrick Gallery. Now through May 18th, the 4th Annual Michigan Regional Glass Exhibition. Can you tell us about some of the pieces that you have on site there at the Janice Carrick Gallery that are part of this exhibition, and what were some of the choices that you made behind putting those certain pieces in this exhibition?
Well, first of all, I'm very excited to be in the exhibition. I'm among 52 glass artists, and I'm honored to be the only glass mosaic artist in the group. There's a lot of a variety of different things that each artist is doing something very different with glass. So it's really an interesting show, and there's great light in the gallery, so you can see it really well. The pieces that I have in the show are from my On the Side of the Road series, which is really, I think, a really cool series, which was inspired, as everybody can relate to the condition of Michigan roads with potholes and cracks. I had an experience where I was riding my bicycle and I had to look down so I wouldn't hit a pothole or go into a crack and get hurt. And while I was looking down, I noticed that the cracks in the cement and the cracks in the concrete and the sides of the asphalt created really interesting composition and designs with the cracks themselves. So I got all excited as an artist. I hop off my bike. I started taking photos of these different abstract patterns. I went back into my studio and started drawing and painting, and eventually made some glass mosaic pieces that show my view from the side of the road as I'm looking down, and these kind of it's a cool abstract patterns. So the pieces in the show are abstract, but if you look and understand that it's from the seat of my bicycle, you can kind of see that you're kind of looking down a perspective a little bit down a road, and with all sorts of interesting, there's rocks, there's beads, there's glass, there's different materials in them that are reflective and interesting. And for the people who can see on TV right now, the piece behind me actually has the bicycle gears and chains and rocks and different things in there that are it's fun and very abstract, fun series. But making a commentary about our state of our infrastructure.
We're joined by mixed media mosaic artist Michelle Sider on the Oakland County Megacast. Her work on display among the art of 51 other glass artists at the Janice Carrick Gallery in West Bloomfield Township now through May 18th of this year. You can learn more information by visiting gallery.jccdet.org. Gallery.jccdet.org for their hours of operation and to learn more about Michelle and the 51 other artists on display at the 4th Michigan Regional Glass Exhibition over there at the Janice Carrick Gallery, running now through May 18th of this year. And so, Michelle, you had mentioned earlier that you were at one point in your career an art teacher. You were also a kid that grew up enjoying art and loving art and were inspired by an art teacher in your youth to go into art as a career. For those parents out there right now that have kids that are really interested in art and have taken that up as a passion of theirs and maybe considering it as a career, what advice do you have for them on what their kids can do and what the parents can do too to inspire their kids and prepare them for a career potentially as an artist?
Great question. The first thing I want to say is if you notice that your kid is creative or maybe doesn't think like everybody else around them, a lot of creative people think differently. They have different points of view. Encourage it. Encourage it so much. And art is a viable career. I'd love to get rid of the old and not true idea of the starving artist. It's not true. We have a world right now that's so visual. Everything, people are on screens. There's videos, there's art, there's music, there's dance, all these different creative art forms. They're hot, and you can have a great career in it. And I would like to encourage parents to think that way, because as an art teacher, I know that some parents were out of love and concern for their kids. Well, they wanted to have something more practical to go into rather than art. And I would say encourage your kid. If they have passion, oh, that's the best thing. If you can have a career in something that you love, you are a lucky person. And I would encourage people to look in their communities. So they're maybe even ask if you have an art teacher or teachers at the school, who's in the community that's teaching art. And even if you can't do that or you can't afford to do that, create a corner in the kitchen where your child can sit down and get a little messy and play. And you don't even have to buy expensive materials. Literally, you could take the leftover water from coffee and use that with a brush and paint with that. You can take the charcoal that's left over from if you had a fire in the backyard, not a real, but a fire, cooking marshmallows or something. The leftover charcoal is a medium that people have used as an art tool for thousands of years. So there's things around you that you can use and just encourage them. And of course, there are after-school activities and programs. So look them up. That's what my mom did, and I was so grateful for that. I was involved in some after-school art programs, and I loved it. It was my favorite part of the day, and really encouraged me to become an artist. And those art teachers out there, God bless you. You're helping people find real viable careers in something exciting.
You're listening to your radio homes for the Megacast, 89.3 WBLD Orchard Lake and 88.1 WBFH Bloomfield Hills. We're joined by Michelle Sider, a mixed media mosaic artist, joining us on the Oakland County Megacast. Her art on display among the art of 51 other glass artists at the Janice Carrick Gallery in West Bloomfield Township, now through May 18th. Janice Carrick Gallery is on the campus of the Jewish Community Center, located on Drake Road in West Bloomfield. More information on their website, gallery.jccdet.org. That's gallery.jccdet.org. Michelle, in 2017, you and Rabbi Joseph Krakoff published a book called Never Enough Time, aimed at helping children grieving with the loss of a loved one. Can you talk about that particular book? What went into your collaboration with the rabbi, and what was kind of the story behind initiating the production of this book?
Thank you for asking. The book is called Never Long Enough. And it is actually a beautiful book that helps people deal with the loss of a loved one or the grieving process. And we both came to it from different points of view, and it's a beautiful collaboration. And just in a wider sense, I want to say that while my partner is a rabbi and I'm also Jewish, that this book is not a Jewish book. It's not a religious book at all. It cuts across race, religion, sexual orientation, anything that we could use to divide ourselves in society. This cuts across all of it. It deals with loving somebody, and if you are losing somebody or lost somebody, the pain and the grief involved, and that cuts across all social class and everything. And it's a beautiful book that basically is prose, a poem broken down to different ideas, and each page has an original drawing or painting that takes you slows you down and takes you through some different ideas to help you really honor the grieving process, to help you then move forward. And it's not a how-to book. It's actually just a really beautiful book that's very, I feel like it's very sensitively done. We took 3 years to create it and thought very carefully about every single detail that went into it. And people can go through slowly and with loved ones to read the different beautiful ideas in the book. And it starts out black and white, and it ends up in full color paintings to the idea of going through the grieving process and then to hope at the end. The way it first started was Rabbi Krakoff was looking for somebody to illustrate some of his poetry. He's very talented and has a number of poems. I read his poem. He came to me and I read his poems, and this one poem in particular really struck me for a lot of different reasons. It's beautiful. I said, oh my goodness, we have to do something with this poem. So it was basically this one beautiful poem about loss that we focused on and then rewrote and created into a book. And at the end of the book, we have empty pages for people to write down their feelings. And feedback that we've gotten from people is that they've really used it almost as a journal or as a diary to talk about their loved ones and their relationship. And we actually created a sequel, which is a coloring book / workbook around the same poem, the same ideas, but we've expanded it, and we have some prompt questions, more blank pages, but it's also a coloring book so that a caregiver and somebody who's ill or family members after someone who has died can come together and color and talk about their loved ones, write down their ideas, and it really becomes a very valuable way to for the grieving process and to really honor your loved one.
Michelle, before we let you go, if people would like to obtain a copy of Never Long Enough or see any of your other work, where can they find you online on your website and on social media?
Thanks for asking. So I do have a website. It's my name, Michelle, Michelle, S studio.com. So it's michellesstudio.com is where you can see my work. And the book has its own website. It's called neverlongenough.net. So you can purchase books straight from the website there. And I'm also on Facebook and Instagram. My name is Michelle Cider, with like apple cider, but with an S. And you can find my work online.
More information about the 4th Michigan Regional Glass Exhibition, which is going on now through May 18th, and features Michelle's works at the Janice Carrick Gallery in West Bloomfield Township on their website, gallery.jccdet.org. You can learn more about Michelle by visiting her website, michellesstudio.com, and learn more and obtain Never Long Enough by visiting neverlongenough.net. Michelle, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
When times get dark, we can't see the help that's all around us. When you don't know where to turn, let 211 be your guiding light.
How can I help you?
Our guides are ready to connect you with the help you need. For help with food, healthcare, mental health, and other resources. Call 211 or visit 211.org. 211. Get connected, get help.
Parents do a lot of worrying. Get your kids caught up on childhood vaccines to protect them from these 14 preventable diseases, and you'll have 14 fewer things to worry about. Vaccines are safe and effective and save lives. So let's get caught up on vaccines and worry about something else. Get the facts at ivaccinate.org.
We may come from different organizations,
But we work together to protect the Huron River for everyone.
Most of the pollution that goes into our rivers
is carried by rainwater that flows off of roads, parking lots, and rooftops.
The leaves and bark of a single tree can retain a surprising amount of rainwater. Depending on its size and species, it could be 100 gallons or more.
It is estimated that an urban forest can reduce annual runoff by up to 7%.
Here's one thing that we know can help keep our water clean.
Plant a tree.
Plant a tree.
Plant a tree.
There's one water, and it's ours to protect.
One of the things you can look for in your friends is a change in behavior.
These can be big changes, they can be small changes in mood, physical appearance.
They may be sleeping less or sleeping more, drinking more, or their eating patterns may be different.
One big change that can be pretty obvious is change in motivation. Do they no longer want to play basketball? Do they no longer want to play video games?
Now that we're spending more time online and in virtual settings, it's really important to pay attention to the language that your friend is using and the words they're using to communicate.
So when we text our friends, are they taking longer amounts of time to respond? Are they not responding at all? You don't have to be an expert to try to recognize these signs. The second that you feel it in your gut and that you're concerned, that's the second to have the conversation and open the door to what might be going on.
Whatever gets you talking.
Joining us now from Grace Centers of Hope in Pontiac, Michigan is their Women's Program Director, Dr. Pam Clark. Dr. Clark, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate having you on. So first off, for those that are unfamiliar with Grace Centers of Hope, can you give us a little bit of a background on this organization and the ways that it benefits the local community?
Right, Tyler. Grace Centers of Hope is a rehab homeless shelter. We have a program for women, children, and kids, men also. They come into our program. They're usually addicted to drugs. They've been abused. They've been neglected. And we're seeing more and more women that have been trafficked by the situation that's happened to them. And they come in for a year and work on their issues. They have a case manager, counselor. Their children can come in with them. We have a state-of-the-art daycare. They have classes on the issues that, that they're dealing with. And also this case manager will help them, deal with the courts and whatever that's happened along the way. Then we also have a 2-year aftercare program where they can live in one of our 58 houses and they pay a small amount for rent and they work and become productive citizens.
And so how do people come to Grace Centers of Hope? Is this something where they voluntarily enter? Is it court ordered? Is it some other means that they come through?
Most people come because they want to. Getting clean from alcohol, drugs is difficult. So if your mother wants you to or your uncle, that usually doesn't work. But when you decide you actually want to change your mindset and get off of drugs or alcohol, that usually works at Grace Centers. We have a few that are court ordered, but probably 85% have come on their own.
We're joined by the Women's Program Director at Grace Centers of Hope, Dr. Pam Clark, joining us on the Michigan Megacast. Dr. Clark, give us a little bit of information on your background and how you got involved with Grace Centers of Hope.
Well, I probably didn't go to college to be here, but my husband was put on the board and he said, I had a small private practice at that time. And he said, come out here and look at this. They don't have anything for women. They just have for men. So I came out and I just fell in love. I mean, these are precious women that have been abused and neglected, and they just grabbed my heart. I love them, and just to see the change, the transformations, we see miracles here every day. And women that came in and they're 90 pounds, they've been using heroin for 20 years, and then God gets a hold of them and they change their life. And it's really a mindset, we call it change from the inside out. They begin to deal with the deep issues, and then they begin to look different on the outside. And it's amazing what they can accomplish.
We're joined by Dr. Pam Clark, the Women's Program Director at Grace Centers of Hope, joining us on the Michigan Megacast. You mentioned earlier that in discussing with your husband some of the programs at Grace Centers of Hope while he was on the board of the organization, that he had said that we have a lot for men, but we don't have any women's programs. And so you, as the Women's Program Director, can you tell us about the Women's Program, how it got started, and what that entails at this moment in time at Grace Centers of Hope?
It's amazing. In fact, Kyle, we just put in another building because we were turning away so many women. We are the only program in Southeast Michigan that rehabs women and children together. We also have a program for men, but that women can come in and bring their children, and we have a state-of-the-art daycare, and we have counselors for their children. So not only are they getting help, but these children have been taken with these parents along with during their drug use, which creates all kinds of problems and abuse with the children. A lot of the children were taken away from their parents at one point in time, and Grace Centers of Hope, the Women's Program, goes to court with them. When they begin to turn their life around, they begin to have visits, and that we integrate these families back together. I mean, that's one of the things we really believe in is community. Like God created family. In fact, what's happening in the United States is the deterioration of families. So we're trying to put families back together and unite these and teach these women how to be mothers and how to deal with their children, at the ages that they return to them.
And so how different is it to put programs together specifically for women as opposed to more general programs for the entire population of those that are at Grace Centers of Hope for their 1-year program or in their recovery phase program for 2 years?
We did some stats. That's a good question. We did some stats quite a few years ago, and more women, about 80% more women, stayed in the program longer when they had their children with them. That fact that I have 2 kids here and they need for me to stay here and finish the program and be accountable and learn to be balanced and deal with my issues and learn how to be a good mom. So women that are single, will leave a lot easier than a mom that has 3 children with her.
We're joined by Pam Clark, Dr. Pam Clark, the Women's Program Director at Grace Centers of Hope, joining us on the Michigan Megacast. Dr. Clark, coming up on Saturday, April 23rd, that's a week from Saturday, it's the 24th annual Grace Centers of Hope Women Helping Women Luncheon and Fashion Show. Can you tell us about the event and also how this event helps to support the women's program through Grace Centers of Hope?
We are so excited. This is the 24th annual Women Helping Women Fashion Show and Luncheon, and it's at the gorgeous Royal Park Hotel, and the meal is phenomenal. And it's especially after 2 years of being in lockdown, it's good that women can get out and get together and dress up and have an elegant meal. And it's really helps the Grace Centers of Hope because it raises the money that we can continue supporting these women and children for another year. And there, some of the stats that I was reading the other day, that this heroin epidemic, this, is like deteriorating the next generation. In fact, we're having more deaths in the United States than we are births because of the pandemic and drug abuse, because women and kids and men are ODing. Also, last year was the highest rate of children, 14 to 18 deaths because of overdose. So it is an epidemic here in our country, here in Michigan. And so being able to turn that around, turn women around, thousands of women get their life back. So the fashion show is just an amazing event, and it's just a fun way to do it. I mean, women get to dress up and have a wonderful meal and see the lives change. We have videos, and we have women with their testimonies of where they came from and where they're going. They've been rescued and turned around.
We're joined by Dr. Pam Clark, Women's Program Director at Grace Centers of Hope, joining us on the Michigan Megacast. More information on the website at gracecentersofhope.org. That's gracecentersofhope.org. Go to the top of their page. There is a special segment. There's a section there called Special Events, and just one drop down from that is the fashion show tickets and fashion show information, so you can learn more about their Women Helping Women luncheon and fashion show. That is Saturday, April 23rd, from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. And if you'd like to learn more about the event as well and ask any questions, you can contact their special events coordinator, April Melick, at amelik@gracecentersofhope.org. That's AMELIK at gracecentersofhope.org. Dr. Clark, can you talk about some of the fashion designers and retailers who will be participating in this special event?
We are so excited that Somerset Collection is going to partner with us, and some of the retailers, and Fortain is going to be, we're going to start with them. In fact, this afternoon, I'm taking 8 of our models to Somerset, and they will get to try on beautiful outfits. And we call this, when they're at Grace Centers, we call it change from the inside out. But they get to start today with the outside and, be pampered. They get their hair done, they get their makeup done, and it's just so rewarding to see them in that light. And we just want to thank again Somerset Collection for being involved with us.
We're joined by Dr. Pam Clark, the director of the Women's Program at Grace Centers of Hope. More information on the Women's Program, as well as the Women Helping Women luncheon and fashion show event happening on April 23rd from 10 to 2 p.m. on gracecentersofhope.org. That's gracecentersofhope.org. There was a very special moment at every fashion show. That is the Grace Centers of Hope women models who are proud to sort down the runway right alongside professional models as well. Can you talk about that relationship in this event and how that helps to make this a special moment, but also a moment of partnership out in the community as well?
Right. The professional models are unbelievable. And for our girls to be up there on the stage with these gorgeous outfits, and the models will help them get dressed and show them how to walk. And it's just amazing transformation for these girls. It's a once in a lifetime. Who gets to A, go to the Royal Park, and B, wear the clothes from Somerset and walk on the runway with professional models that kind of give you tips. And these professional models are so good to my girls. They want to hear their stories, and professional models have stories also. And also our kids at Grace Centers, we have 6 children that will be modeling clothes from Somerset Collection for them to see them walk down. It's the sweetest thing ever. These little kids, whatever they do is cute. I mean, we've had them take the mic and talk, and we've had them run, and we've had them really strut their stuff. It's amazing, and a one-time life experience for them also.
We're joined by Dr. Pam Clark, Women's Program Director at Grace Centers of Hope, joining us on the Michigan Megacast. More information on the Women's Program, on Grace Centers of Hope, and on the Women Helping Women luncheon and fashion show fundraiser event on their website, gracecentersofhope.org. Dr. Clark, if people are interested in attending the event or helping out as a sponsor, where can they get more information or purchase tickets to this event?
We do have some tickets left, which is amazing. They can go to www.gracecentersofhope.org, or they can call 248-334-2187, and they can purchase a ticket that way.
More information on their website, gracecentersofhope.org, where you can purchase tickets by going to their special events page and clicking on Fashion Show Tickets at the top of their website, or as Dr. Clark said, by calling the Grace Centers of Hope phone number at 248-334-2187. Specifically, it's 248-334-2187 for more information. Dr. Clark, anything else about the Women's Program that we haven't spoken about today that would be interesting or important for our audience to know, or anything else that you'd like to discuss today?
These women that are going to be the models are so excited. And I just, people that come to the fashion show, they are the reason that Grace Centers of Hope Women's Program stays open. And what amazing blessing that is, that you can be a part of changing another woman's life. That's why we call it Women Helping Women.
Dr. Clark, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Today, it is easier than ever to join Michigan's Organ Donor Registry and help build a bridge of hope for organ, tissue, and eye donation. Just one person can potentially save or help improve the lives of up to 75 people. By joining, your legacy could be the gift of life. Sign up today at michigan.gov/SOS or at any of the more than 145 Secretary of State self-service stations located across Michigan. Be part of Michigan's Bridge of Hope by adding your name to the Organ Donor Registry. Today, it is easier than ever to join Michigan's Organ Donor Registry and help build a bridge of hope for organ, tissue, and eye donation. Just one person can potentially save or help improve the lives of up to 75 people. By joining, your legacy could be the gift of life. Sign up today at michigan.gov/SOS or at any of the more than 145 Secretary of State self-service stations located across Michigan. Be part of Michigan's Bridge of Hope by adding your name to the Organ Donor Registry.
When times get dark, we can't see the help that's all around us. When you don't know where to turn, let 211 be your guiding light.
How can I help you?
Our guides are ready to connect you with the help you need. For help with food, healthcare, mental health, and other resources, call 211 or visit 211.org. 211. Get connected, get help.
If you are struggling to afford your internet bills during the pandemic, there's a temporary government program that may be able to help. It's called the Emergency Broadband Benefit, and it provides up to a $50 monthly discount on your broadband bill to qualifying households. Find more information about the program, including if you qualify and how to enroll, at fcc.gov/broadbandbenefit or call toll-free at 833-511-0311.
A public service announcement from 89.3 Lakes FM.
Whether you're the city,
The county.
Or the Huron River Watershed Council.
We work together to protect water resources for everyone.
Most of the pollution entering our rivers is carried by rainwater that runs off roads, parking lots, and rooftops.
a rain garden helps catch stormwater runoff.
Rain gardens and their plants help dirty runoff soak into the ground.
You can do your part to help keep our water clean.
Learn about rain gardens and native plants.
So consider a rain garden in your home landscaping.
Catch the runoff with a rain garden.
There's one water, and it's ours to protect.
I couldn't breathe at all. There was lots of talk about putting me on a ventilator. I thought I was gonna die. I was 39 weeks pregnant and had a scheduled C-section. During that time, I got COVID and was hospitalized for a month. I had a blood clot in my lungs. It caused me to go into right-sided heart failure. I was really scared. I kept texting my husband and my mom, telling them how scared I was, and I was worried that he was gonna grow up without a mom. And then I was worried if, when I did get home, that he wouldn't know who I was. You know, being 27 and a mom and a wife and having that all almost taken away from me. It's scary, and if a vaccine can prevent that from happening, why not? Get your vaccine. I don't want this to happen to anybody else.
A message from the staff of Michigan's Crime Victim Compensation Program.
Anyone can be a victim of crime
and suffer lasting trauma, physically, emotionally, and financially.
But you are not alone.
If you're struggling financially due to a crime,
we're here
for you. Find out if you qualify for crime victim compensation. Call 877-251-7373 or visit michigan.gov/crime victim.
A message from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, Division of Victim Services.
If you are struggling to afford your internet bills during the pandemic, there's a temporary government program that may be able to help. It's called the Emergency Broadband Benefit, and it provides up to a $50 monthly discount on your broadband bill to qualifying households. Find more information about the program, including if you qualify and how to enroll, at fcc.gov/broadbandbenefit or call toll-free at 833-511-0311.
A public service announcement from 89.3 Lakes FM.
You see certain things get reincarnated in your children. My daughter is very much inspired by my wife's artistic pursuits. So my daughter started making necklaces. She makes what we call affirmation fashion. I tell her every day that your black is beautiful. Your black is beautiful. Your black is beautiful. And if there's anything better than being beautiful, it's being smart. And if there's anything better than being smart, it's being kind. And reaffirming that every day is our method of making sure her chin never drops. My dad wasn't around, and I remember riding a bike and falling off and cutting myself, and me never just wanted to get back on it. People ask, how your children learn how to ride a bike, and you didn't. I didn't teach them. I just created an environment where they taught themselves, and all I had to do was be there.
Whether you're the city,
the county,
or the Huron River Watershed Council.
As partners working together to protect our water resources, we agree.
Pet waste is a source of harmful bacteria in the Huron River.
When it's left on the ground, it can wash into the storm drains.
These lead directly to our streams. No filters, no treatment.
Here's one thing we know that can help keep our water clean.
Pick up pet waste and trash it.
Pick up pet waste and trash it.
So pick up pet waste and trash it.
There's one water, and it's ours to protect.
Who is struggling right now?
I am.
My son is.
Many are struggling with anxiety, depression, and substance use. Before it becomes a crisis, reach out to MyCal, the Michigan Crisis and Access Line for free confidential support 24/7. Available in the Upper Peninsula and Oakland County. Just call or text 1-844-44-MyCal or chat online at michigan.gov/MyCal. A message from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services.
Welcome to the Michigan Megacast. I'm Tyler Keefe. To learn more about the program at civiccentertv.com/megacast, where you'll also find information on our entire network of stations, including our radio homes for the show, 89.3 WBLD Orchard Lake and 88.1 WBFH Bloomfield Hills, as well as My Michigan TV, otherwise known as My. This week we have a lot of special programming coming to you on My Michigan TV live from the 2022 Pure Michigan Governors Conference at the Grand Traverse Resort and Spa in Acme, Michigan, just outside of Traverse City. We'll have Steve Lado up there. We'll have the King of Television, Larry Nyland, up there on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And we currently have executive producer and president of My Michigan TV, Dave Scott, up there, along with the public relations manager from the Grand Traverse Resort and Spa, Caroline Rizzo, both joining us now on the Michigan Megacast. Dave, Caroline, thank you for being with us.
Hey, really good to be here, Tyler. It's a dangerous day. They've given me a microphone, Tyler. So it's awful good to be here. Hi, Carolyn.
Hi, Dave. How are you?
Fantastic. Thank you very much for being with us. Hey, Tyler, we're here at the Grand Traverse Resort. And if you can see behind us, the setup is going on right now for the Governor's Conference on Tourism. And Carolyn, it's the biggest tourism event in the year, and it's happening in your house. How about that?
It is, and we've hosted it before, so we're so excited to have this prestigious annual tourism conference here at Grand Traverse Resort and Spa once again.
And we've set the perfect environment. You can't see it, Tyler, but if we looked out the window right now, it's a beautiful sunny day here in Traverse City. We got about 80 degrees going on. No, it's snowing, Carolyn. What's up?
We do not want to talk about that. I'm so glad nobody can see that right now. And hopefully by the time the conference kicks off tomorrow evening, the white stuff on the ground is gone. It's the end of April. We don't want this, but this is pure Michigan, right?
So the tourism world is coming back, and talk a little bit about how things are going here and what's it been like recovering from COVID-19.
2 years, right? Isn't that crazy? It's been 2 years now since we've kind of been living in this changed world a little bit. And it feels so good to have these events back, especially one like this, to bring tourism and travel and hospitality folks together under one roof to collaborate and learn and grow and kind of look at the trends and see what's happening and what's changing and how we've adapted. It's incredible to have that group together. But we've been kind of rocking and rolling here for the last year now. And, we've had to make some changes over some of our operations, but we're pretty much back into the normal swing of things, which is exciting to see and feel. And our staff is happy. We love putting these events together and bringing in, hundreds of people, whether it's a small business conference or something large scale where you're bringing people in from all over the country. We can do it. We're ready.
Tyler, you didn't expect to get a word in edgewise with Carolyn and I here, did you?
Of course not. No, never. I know. That's what you said. It's dangerous. You get a microphone and it's all over.
Yeah, well, Tyler and I used to do the show together, and for 3 years, he never got a single word in. So, Carolyn, we're here in the beautiful, expansive, and I might add, recently redecorated Governor's Hall. Really, I think it got to be the biggest room north of Saginaw here, and this is a venue that hosts so many incredible events.
Yeah, so 19,000 square feet. This is absolutely our show-stopping ballroom that we have here. And yeah, Governor's Hall, named after the National Governors Conference that's taken place here at the resort a number of times, but the perfect backdrop too for our Pure Michigan Governors Conference on Tourism.
So how important is this event? You're right in the heart of tourism here, but how important is this event? We'll have the convention and visitors bureaus and the destinations and everyone that has been, so negatively impacted by COVID-19 coming together. What are they going to be talking about and how important is this?
It's crucial. It's extremely important, especially this time of year, right? End of April, we're heading into a busy spring, summer, but fall and winter, I think people forget in the state of Michigan, tourism, travel, these things run year round. There's things to do in this state in all seasons. We're a 4-season state and it's beautiful year round. So these CVBs and DMOs, and then same thing with all these other destination sites, small municipal cities and towns or groups, this is kind of their stage to put what they offer out there. We have people coming in, speakers from New York City, Pauline Fromer from Fromer Travel, New York national brand that's coming in to speak and kind of learn more about this state and then take our story and put it out there. We have people from TripAdvisor and we have people internationally coming in from Germany to speak about just the trends that we're seeing and as travel comes back, because it is, and it's coming back in full force. And we're seeing that definitely up here in Traverse City. We've kind of been put on the map in the last couple of years with our great outdoors and everything we offer. And we're seeing a large increase of people coming here season after season now. So this is kind of the stage to put your name and what you offer in Michigan out there.
And sneaking in the big sliding door here is the newest media outlet in the state of Michigan, My Michigan TV, where we are right now streaming live on all the smart TVs and phones and web. And it's kind of like Netflix for Michigan. What do you think?
I think it's incredible. There's so many stories to tell in this state, right? I mean, you can go into every pocket of the lower and upper peninsula and find something to talk about, discover a new place, experience a new activity. There's so much to do in the state of Michigan. I think it's a great playground and escape for even Michiganders who've called this place their home their entire life.
I think some of the greatest stories actually come from north of the bridge. Steve Leto, who you will meet tomorrow, is an author and has written a lot of books about travel around Michigan and wrote a great book about Douglas Houghton, who people, south of the bridge don't really know about his story and the impact he had on our state. But Steve knows every little, pasty shop and fudge shop and every place to stay. And so it's a lot of fun discovering all kinds of hidden treasures in both peninsulas.
It is. And, I grew up in Metro Detroit, came up here, fell in love, wanted to call Northern Michigan home. I'm doing it, loving it. But there's still so many areas of this northern lower peninsula and then the upper peninsula that I still need to discover. And like I just said, I think that's the best part about this state is there's so many areas to learn and experience and, get to go and explore. You could be doing that year round and always finding something new.
Carolyn Rizzo is with us. She is from the Grand Traverse Resort. Tyler, these are two really important terms for you and our audience over the next couple of days, because we're going to be broadcasting live here. CVB and DMO. Let's see. She threw those out a minute ago. That's okay. That's okay. Now, Tyler is the smartest guy I've ever worked with, okay? He's the brains of this operation. No, yeah, of course. Okay, you got those? CVB and DMO, Tyler. Let's see if you can get 'em.
CVB. Okay.
CVB and DMO. CVB. I mean, it is live television here. I mean, Carolyn's got a lunch.
yeah.
She's got a lunch appointment, so you don't get too.
Yeah, that's some.
You don't get too much time.
There goes your afternoon, Caroline.
CVB, Convention and Visitors Bureau. DMO, Destination Marketing Organization.
Right, there you go. Destination Marketing Organization and CVB. And here in Michigan, for our viewers, they are the heart of the promotion of tourism. There's two real big monsters here in the state. Of course, the state, Travel Michigan, and then the Convention and Visitors Bureaus, because they have budget. There's a tax that's charged to every visitor, and they take that money and they spend it to promote tourism in our state. They are a powerful force, and they'll all be here.
Absolutely. So right here, Traverse City Tourism, they take over the whole Grand Traverse region. They've even acquired additional counties like Benzie County. So you're seeing some of these CVBs and DMOs and tourism agencies really just grow because, again, there's that story to tell, there's the business to have, and there's the attractions to bring people here. And that's what it's all about, getting people in our hotel rooms, getting people dining in our restaurants, shopping in our local small businesses, and just supporting Michigan.
All right. Anything else you want to add about the resort or about this big event before we say so long?
No, we're so excited. Like I said, we've hosted this conference before. We just all met actually back in November in Detroit for the 2021, since it couldn't happen last spring. And to be able to kind of get back on that springtime agenda and schedule and have everybody here, people from, again, Germany, New York, these huge travel agencies and companies here in Northern Michigan, kind of on our stage. We love hosting this, and there's no place we'd rather have it than right here at Grand Traverse Resort.
Well, you guys have done a great job, and this was put together in an unusually tight time frame because you know, things got delayed last year. And so this was 6 months ago that we were last together. Yes. And usually it's a year. So you had to put, it seems like a long time to put together a big event like this, but there's a lot of details.
We start working on it like right at, right when it's coming here. So this is a long time in the works. But what's very interesting, I was with Dave Lorenz from Pure Michigan this morning and Trevor Takach with Traverse City Tourism. Yes, we were just together 6 months ago. So much has already changed in the last 6 months. So this will be a whole new conference, all new trends and analytics and, stats shared, and just great conversation to have as we head into the busy summer season.
No, there's a ton, and just in my world of my television, video is exploding.
Oh, yeah.
In my other world with Michigan Digital, we do a lot of websites for CVBs. That is all changing. State, Dave Lorenz, I look forward to talking to him. And Tyler, maybe you've already talked to Dave. Yeah. He's on the show often about the new website, but Travel Michigan will have a new website, and maybe they're announcing it here. It's going to be here any day.
Yeah, no, it's exciting. All these places are just kind of revamping. And again, we have a lot more eyes on our state of Michigan now, a lot more visitors, new or returning. And there's just, you want to be able to give them something new to engage with and be ready to experience.
All right, you're going to have a big summer?
Yes. Oh my gosh, summer. I mean, you look at the calendar. That's a big piece to let people know. If you are thinking of getting out there, you have to start planning now, because we're seeing that big boost in business travel again. So those conferences are coming back, and they come back in full force because people are ready to be together. I mean, this is just an example of it. When they opened up this registration, it went fast, and all of our conferences are kind of lining up that way here at the resort. So if you're looking to travel, you've got to get your plans, out there now, because June, July, August, it's pretty booked up, even into September and October. So,
and Renee, I'll give you a good nod on the way out here, but this is the crown jewel of Traverse City. You really have it all. You have a beautiful high rise with spectacular views. You've got great casinos. You're right in the middle of cherry country, and then obviously amazing golf.
Yeah, we call ourselves Northern Michigan's premier resort experience and destination, and we truly are. And we're the perfect launch pad, right? Just into Traverse City and the surrounding region. So if you're looking for golf, if you're looking for relaxation at the spa, stunning views and awesome food, or just having a great place to then get out and explore Traverse City, Elk Rapids, even going up to Charlevoix or into Leelanau County, this is the place to be.
Renee Rizzo, thank you very much.
No problem.
Thank you very much. Tyler, how did you do?
Did pretty well, yeah. Covered a lot of what's going on over there at the Grand Traverse Resort and Spa, and of course the event coming up this week there, the 2022 Governor's Conference on Tourism in Michigan, which we'll be out there all week long. We'll have Larry Nyland, the king of television, out there. We'll have Steve Leto out there, and a lot of great.
You call Larry the king of television.
Oh, we call him the king of television. He is doing a royal job of getting all these shows booked and hosting one of them, hosting Larry and Maddie Live here on My Michigan TV every week, weekday from 1 to 2 p.m.
Thanks, ma'am. Talk to you in a little bit.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Dave Scott out at the Grand Traverse Resort and Spa in Acme, Michigan, with Caroline Rizzo, the public relations manager with the Grand Traverse Resort and Spa, where they will be hosting this week's 2022 Governor's Conference on Tourism. More original programming, a lot of more people to talk to out there who are the official people in travel and tourism here in Michigan, are going to be making those decisions and really guiding the future of travel in the Great Lakes state. We're going to take a break here on the Megacast. More great programming coming up. We'll look back at one of our favorite recent interviews from the Michigan Megacast. And then at 11:40, we'll be joined by Sanya Weston, who is the founder of Young People Travel Global, which is one of nearly 300 Share Detroit supported charities and nonprofits. That's all up next. This is the Michigan Megacast.
Motorcyclists are hard to see. To keep everyone safer, it's important to always look for them and know where most crashes occur. 84% of motorcycle and vehicle crashes happen on streets, not highways. And most crashes with motorcyclists occur when vehicle drivers are turning left. So before turning, especially to the left, make sure you look for motorcyclists. Then look again. It could save a life.
Spring, summer, and fall are some of the most eventful seasons for Michiganders and visitors alike to explore all that the Great Lakes state has to offer. Joining us now to preview a travel season that may be a major boom for Michigan's economy and the Michigan spirit is Dave Lorenz, Vice President of Travel Michigan. Dave, thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Tyler. It's good to be with you. And I think you're right. We are ready to travel. I look at all the research, but I also talk to my friends and I know how I feel. I'm ready to travel. And the research we look at really does show a huge pent-up demand for domestic traveler, Americans who want to come and visit Pure Michigan, and for international travel too. Those folks, our friends in Canada, they can't wait to get here. We just need to make it easier for those international folks to cross those borders, and we're trying to get there too. So it's going to be a busy summer. I'm going to say this more than once, so I'll say it right now. Book your rooms now. I just want to tell you, I don't want you to be disappointed. So book your rooms now, and then we'll talk about some other tips down the road too.
We're joined by Dave Lorenz, Vice President of Travel Michigan, joining us on the Michigan Megacast. So part of what makes Michigan so unique is the different specialty areas all across the state for festivals, for specific events. And one of the first that's coming up in the spring and summer season is May 7th through 15th in Holland, Michigan, on the west side of the state. As the Tulip Time Festival. Can you tell those who have never been to Holland for this event about that event and what makes it so special having this event in one of our great cities in western Michigan?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked. I always think of Blossom Time down in the Benton Harbor, St. Joe area, and Tulip Time in Holland is kind of the beginning of spring for me. Almost always. They just tend to have great weather. I don't know how they do it, but they just get lucky. But this year's festival is going to be slightly different, just like everybody else. We've had to make adjustments for many reasons. And the festival this year is going to not have, I don't think they're going to do that Wednesday Volks Parade. They're going to do the big Volks Parade, the People's Parade, on Saturday the 14th. It's the one I typically am in, and I'm sweeping with my wooden shoes, keep cleaning those streets. So I'm hoping the schedule is going to allow me to be there that day. And even if I'm not invited to be in the parade, I'm going to be on the sidelines, because it's really cool to see so many people dressed up in Dutch regalia, traditional Dutch regalia, representing all assets of, or all various sectors of society, from, you know, people who would be working the fields to the noblemen, so to speak, and women. So that's a really cool thing to see. And then, of course, you have all the other parade elements that everybody's used to seeing and hearing. Lots of bands, And I think we really do need to get out and support these parades and just enjoy hearing them and watching them this year. It's going to be great to have that all back. And of course, this festival, like so many others, they have the big carnival that starts that prior weekend, around the 5th, 6th, 7th, something like that of May. And then we have a whole bunch of other things that people have come to expect and really love, like the Dutch dancing demonstrations. They're all over the place. Seeing those young people, and occasionally not so young, dance with wooden shoes. Occasionally, it's kind of like a baseball game. You have to keep your eyes open. Occasionally, a wooden shoe goes flying, so keep your eyes open. And it's just a blast. Plenty of fun shows as well, including an artist who will appear and sound like Elton John. So it's going to be a great week.
We're joined by Dave Lorenz, Vice President of Travel Michigan, joining us on the Michigan Megacast. Also on the west side of the state, one of the more renowned gems of the state of Michigan is the Meyer Gardens out in Grand Rapids, and they have a blooming event that's coming up, a butterflies blooming event in Grand Rapids that's coming up too, and their summer concert series is also going to be back this summer as well. For those that have not visited the Meyer Gardens, can you just give them a little bit of insight into what they may experience over there and some of the special events that will be happening back in one of those pillars of pure Michigan?
Happy to do that. I used to work for Fred Meyer, and I just so loved Fred and the whole family because they're so special, and they've given back so much to that community, and to tell you the truth, to every community where there's a Meyer store, and even more so. Fred was a very humble man. He didn't want to put his name on buildings or such. So you might be surprised that local baseball park in your town or whatever, very likely supported by the Meyer family. And so when you go to Meyer Gardens and Sculpture Park, what you're going to see is Fred and Lena's passions. Lena was a real lover of gardens, and Fred was a real lover of sculpture. And they blended their passions together for the nation's largest such garden and sculpture park, and it's kind of in the kind of north part of Grand Rapids, just off of I-96 at Beltline. It is an awesome place, and you don't have to really kind of be into either of these things to really enjoy walking through the displays, the gardens, the sculptures, both indoors and outdoors. And of course, they have special events all the time. You mentioned the Fred and Dorothy Fichter Butterflies Are Blooming event that's happening right now, the most popular event they have of the year. I was just there last week. I've been there many times, and for this specific event, there's just something about going into that tropical conservatory. It's about 85 degrees, especially if we get one of those, kind of return to winter days that we tend to have this time of year. It's nice going into that beautiful warm gallery of flora and see all these beautiful plants. And then don't be surprised if a butterfly lands on your shoulder because they're all over the place, and they're from all over the world. That's a pretty cool thing to see, especially in that environment. So check it out right now. It's very popular though, so make sure to go in advance online to get your tickets. We always say your trip begins at michigan.org. And I always forget the various websites to the various places. So the easiest way to do it, go to michigan.org, do a search for either Butterflies Are Blooming or Meyer Gardens and Sculpture Park, and then you'll get to their website and book your time when you want to be there, and just spend the day really enjoying that. And then while you are in the Grand Rapids area, just like every other festival or event, make sure to take that time also to experience and explore the community. Grand Rapids area is a beautiful town. And like so many bigger cities, it's been pretty hit by COVID. So the more we can support these towns and these events, the faster we're going to recover, get people back to work, get our economy going, and get our lives back as well. So check it out. You're going to love it. The other places to go to in Grand Rapids that are just musts include the Gerald R. Ford Museum, right across the street from the Grand Rapids Public Museum. Check out the fantastic art museum. There's so many things to see. You're going to love it.
We're joined by Dave Lorenz, Vice President of Travel Michigan, joining us on the Michigan Megacast. Dave, as the sun comes out, as the weather gets into the 50s, into the 60s, and beyond, that also kicks off golf season here in the state of Michigan. One of the favorite spring and summer and fall pastimes of Michiganders and visitors to the state. Can you tell us about some of the many different golf courses and some that are golf courses and resorts across the state of Michigan that may be hidden gems for those golf enthusiasts?
Absolutely true. We have more than 650 public golf courses in the state. We're the number 1, 2, or 3, I've lost track, on numbers of public golf courses. But this is the thing that nobody else can compare with us. We have the best value for great golfing in this state. Value, of course, is that kind of combination and that connection between price and quality. So when you go to one of our golf courses, in any of the state, anywhere, basically, you're going to have a really good deal for what you get. And that's basically because we have so many golf courses, there's a lot of competition. And the other cool thing about that is you don't have to go very far. And there's a golf course, there are many golf courses, that will suit your style and your skill level. I used to golf 3 times a week, got to expect to be pretty good. Now that I golf like 3 or 4 times a year, not so good. But I can always find a place to go. And if you're in the right group, doesn't matter how good you are, it's all about having fun and connecting with people. It's a great way for us to get back together again in a golf course, whether it's for leisure or for a business connection. There's nothing like, after a business meeting, getting together on one of our Michigan golf courses, talking about the day, doing a little business, and getting to know each other. That's how networking works. That's how you make business in the future as well. There's nothing like it at a golf course. So a couple of big places to go to, maybe for a little bit of a drive, even though the kind of southeast Michigan area offers many good golf courses. You might want to consider kind of that Gaylord region, places like Treetops Resort, fantastic. Treetops, when you get there, you know why it's called that, because it's such a hilly area. You are overlooking this beautiful river territory, and then before you get there, you see all these trees. It's amazing. They have an incredible 3 tops course, which is just very, very special, and it's a par 3. And then the rest of the courses, multiple courses there. This is the thing. You go to a place like this, within minutes, you could be on another course, which is just as beautiful. Most people will think of that Traverse City area, multiple courses. I was on the Wolverine course last year myself at Grand Traverse Resort. Spectacular. And I love that it had a lot of room because I tend to spray the ball all over the place. So that was great. There are golf courses that are unique and special in places like Mackinac Island, the Jewel. And then they have a golf course. This has been there for a long time. I'm going to mess up the name, so I won't try. A Native American name. And that is pretty special, too. It's literally on an old War of 1812 battlefield is where that golf course is. So, man, we have them, and they're all over the place. You're going to love it.
More information about golfing in Michigan, as well as other unique vacation spots and interesting activities at michigan.org. We're joined by Dave Lorenz, Vice President of Travel Michigan, on the Michigan Megacast. One of my favorite places to go at 2 different points of the year and changes the seasons as we change from winter to spring and from summer to fall is to go to East Lansing, go to the campus of Michigan State University and explore over there, especially in the spring as the flowers are blossoming, particularly over there in the Beal Gardens, but also happening on the campus of Michigan State University currently is their 10th annual MSU Science Festival. Can you tell us a little bit about that event that's happening now through April 30th in East Lansing?
Yeah, in fact, I'm trying to find a way to get to that science festival, science fair myself, because I've never been there, but I've heard great things. You know, we all talk about STEM and the importance for us to integrate the value of having a better understanding of science and technology and all that. Well, here's an opportunity for you to bring the kids, bring young people, have them see kind of real life examples of how science is such an important part of our lives, and maybe something for young people to look at as a career down the road. And the best part about it, it's free. So check that out at the MSU campus and be inspired. And when you go to MSU, course, we tend to think of the MSU campus for obviously great school that it is, great sports teams that they offer. I want to have a shout out for the Wharton Center, the big theater there, the beautiful theater. Not only is it great and they offer great shows, but the entire Lansing area has been intentional about being welcoming to folks on the spectrum. For people with challenges, with sensitivity challenges, with autism and other issues, Lansing has really intentionally tried to make sure that their attractions are built and that they have events that meet the needs of the disabled community, specifically about things with autism. So the Wharton Theater, for instance, when they have a musical, they very often will have one musical out of that series where they bring down the intensity of the lights and the sound and other things that might be challenging for someone with autism. I love that. I love that they're thinking about that. And we're trying to get the rest of the state and the rest of the country, frankly, to think along these lines as well, because if we're not welcoming to all, we're not welcoming. And so we need to think about the disabled community as well, and all that we can do to make sure that those folks are able to take advantage of everything else that everybody else can as well.
We're joined by Dave Lorenz, Vice President of Travel Michigan, joining us on the Michigan Megacast. Lastly, on the specific events side coming up, and this is one that I know the king of television, Larry Nyland, our producer, is very excited about. Next week, April 19th through 21st, is the Pure Michigan Governors Conference at the Grand Traverse Resort and Spa in Acme, just outside of Traverse City, a city you mentioned earlier on. Can you tell us about this conference, and is it open to the public if people want to experience this event like our producer Larry Nyland will be next week with Steve Leto and others from My Michigan TV?
Yeah, we've closed registration. We had to limit registration. You know, we're still going through COVID protocols, so we wanted to make sure that we didn't have that many more than 400 attendees. This is where we do the business of travel, and this is where travel industry experts from all over the state come together and we share best insights, we network, we have tremendous speakers. We're going to talk about issues like DEI, and it's important to realize when we come together, our industry wants to make sure we're not just, checking a box, that we're learning how to be sensitive to diversity issues, how to be more inclusive, how to celebrate the fact that this state is a very diverse state. Not only celebrate it, but how we encourage people to travel and get to places where people appear to be different just because of the way we look. But in reality, after we do that and we have full immersion in other communities, we understand we're all the same. We all want a better life for our kids and grandkids. That's what travel does. It helps us to understand these things. So we'll have a couple of speakers and a couple of sessions on this very important issue. We'll also talk about international marketing. We're going to hear from Pauline Frommer from Frommer's Guidebooks on things that the travel industry needs to be aware of, including the whole thing about accessibility and diversity and such. And then we'll have some other folks on kind of research and whatever else. And then I get to go into detail about what we're doing with the Travel Michigan campaign, how we're trying to stay ahead of the game, always be trendsetters, and always stay ahead with the message that we realize we're not perfect. We have a lot to learn and a lot to learn together. And with that thought, we're pretty proud of this place, this very diverse place with diverse people and diverse places to experience. And we're going to try to showcase to the travel industry what we're going to do to get people traveling again. And we need to get them back. So looking forward to that. It's going to be a busy couple of days.
We're joined by Dave Lorenz, Vice President of Travel Michigan, joining us on the Michigan Megacast. Dave, before we let you go, you mentioned earlier on you got some helpful tips for Michiganders and visitors hoping to visit Michigan all throughout the next several seasons with all these great events and different sites to see, and Michigan being back open for the warmer seasons of the year. Can you provide us some of that advice? Of course, you mentioned booking those hotel rooms early. What other advice do you have for Michigan travelers this season?
Yeah, thank you for that. Explore this great state. We have so much to offer, and unfortunately, people tend to only go to the waterfront areas. Hey, they're beautiful. We understand that, but remember, we have 11,000 inland lakes in this state as well. So we have a lot to offer in the waterfront, forest area, trails everywhere, as we mentioned, golf courses everywhere. So explore the lesser known places. It's going to be easier to get in there, fewer people, and better rates. So consider that. As in addition to booking early, do a little exploring and consider the cities. We typically in the summertime go to, the beaches and whatever, but our cities offer great experiences too. I'm going to be at the Tigers game next Friday night. I can't wait. And then when I'm there, I'm going to show a friend the DIA, the wonderful museum. We're going to go to the Henry Ford Museum as well. We're going to check out the Woodward Corridor. We're going to kind of go all around the downtown Detroit area. And then we're going to kind of check out the entire region to the degree that we have time. And then, so that's a great example of how you can stretch out your experience wherever you go, just by kind of thinking about these kind of new places maybe you haven't been to or haven't been to for a while. And really, let's do what we can to support those cities. They need us back right now.
Dave, anything else for us or for Michigan travelers and visitors before we let you go today?
Just remember, as we always say, Tim Allen, you'll start to see and hear our ads out there right now. Maybe see some billboards out and such. Your trip begins at Michigan.org. I'm thrilled to tell you, within a couple of days, we'll be launching our new website. It will be the most accessible state travel website in the country. We already are, but we're really proud of this move we're making to make it easier for people who can't see, and they'll be able to still enjoy the website as well. And if you are without sight, you know what I mean with these various reader technologies that we have. So we're thrilled about that. Michigan.org. Check it out now, and then check it out in a week. I think by the next week we'll have it launched.
Again, that is Michigan.org. Thank you, Dave.
Good to talk to you, Tyler.
To Sofia and Gabriel. Even though these old knees can't follow on your adventure to the forest today, these flowers represent my love. These stitches and threads join us together. And wherever you see a flower, a bird, a beautiful tree, know that my love is with you.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
To Sofia and Gabriel. Even though these old knees can't follow on your adventure to the forest today, these flowers represent my love. These stitches and threads join us together. And wherever you see a flower, a bird, a beautiful tree, know that my love is with you.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
72.7% of high school students get less than the recommended 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night. This can cause pain, obesity, and can very negatively affect your mental health. When you have a consistent 7 to 9 hours of sleep every day, you get sick less often, lose more weight, and have better relationships with those around you. For more information about the dangers of sleep deprivation, go to sleepfoundation.org. This message is brought to you by the WBHS Digital Media Arts Program and 89.3 Lakes FM.
Can I ask you a question?
Why did you get your kids vaccinated?
It was hard for them to social distance, to be isolated from their friends.
I want them to get back to school and sports games. So as a pediatrician, I recommend the vaccine to everyone I know.
The boys lost a former teammate and classmate who was only 20 years old. It's been a devastating year.
We want to get back to normalcy. Our daughter is really looking forward to being with her friends, being a kid.
It's the Great Lakes water. And so what people do ends up in our waterways.
Flushable wipes are just evil. They should be thrown away. They're impossible to destroy, and they can cause significant problems.
One of the main things when you're cooking is to not dump fats, oils, and greases down your drains.
They stick to the sides of pipes. They stick to everything they come in contact with. Don't put it down the sink.
There's one water, and it's ours to protect.
When times get dark, We can't see the help that's all around us. When you don't know where to turn, let 211 be your guiding light.
How can I help you?
Our guides are ready to connect you with the help you need. For help with food, healthcare, mental health, and other resources, call 211 or visit 211.org. 211. Get connected, get help.
We may come from different organizations,
but we work together to protect the Huron River for everyone.
Neighborhood storm drains carry water directly to local creeks and streams. No filters, no treatment.
Storm drains also help reduce street flooding when it rains.
So clearing storm drains and the areas nearby of trash and leaves helps keep them for rain only.
It is easy to do your part by adopting a storm drain.
Find a storm drain, check it, and clear it every month.
So keep storm drains for rain only.
There's one water, and it's ours to protect.
If you are struggling to afford your internet bills during the pandemic, there's a temporary government program that may be able to help. It's called the Emergency Broadband Benefit, and it provides up to a $50 monthly discount on your broadband bill to qualifying households. Find more information about the program, including if you qualify and how to enroll, at fcc.gov/broadbandbenefit or call toll-free at 833-511-0311.
A public service announcement from 89.3 Lakes FM.
We as Michiganders feel connected to this resource in a way that I think is really powerful.
Conservation starts with a caring, committed community.
For me, it's peaceful to have a relationship with the river.
Every single one of us has a role to make sure that those waterways stay safe and healthy, being careful about what goes down the storm drain.
Just even eliminating some of your single-use plastic makes a difference.
There's one water, and it's ours to protect.
Did you know that nearly 3.31 million Americans don't get their annual checkup? Going to the doctor regularly is extremely important and is a crucial factor in maintaining good health. Make sure you are visiting your local doctor often and telling them about any health concerns you have. For more information, contact your local healthcare provider. This message is brought to you by WBHS Digital Media Arts Program and 89.3 Lakes FM.
People are getting out to walk and bike in higher numbers. More vulnerable road users and higher speed traffic can be a dangerous combination. Crash severity has increased, so if you're driving, be sure to slow down and look for people. There's no need to speed. If you're biking, ride with traffic. If you're walking, avoid stepping into the road if possible. If you have to walk in the street, walk facing traffic. Learn more at walkbikedrivesafe.org.
When times get dark, we can't see the help that's all around us. When you don't know where to turn, let 211 be your guiding light.
How can I help you?
Our guides are ready to connect you with the help you need. For help with food, healthcare, mental health, and other resources, call 211 or visit 211.org. 211. Get connected, get help.
Parents do a lot of worrying. Get your kids caught up on childhood vaccines to protect them from these 14 preventable diseases, and you'll have 14 fewer things to worry about. Vaccines are safe and effective and save lives. So let's get caught up on vaccines and worry about something else. Get the facts at ivaccinate.org.
We may come from different organizations,
but we work together to protect the Huron River for everyone.
Most of the pollution that goes into our rivers is carried by rainwater that flows off of roads, parking lots, and rooftops.
The leaves and bark of a single tree can retain a surprising amount of rainwater. Depending on its size and species, it could be 100 gallons or more.
It is estimated that an urban forest can reduce annual runoff by up to 7%.
Here's one thing that we know can help keep our water clean.
Plant a tree.
Plant a tree.
Plant a tree.
There's one water, and it's ours to protect.
One of the things you can look for in your friends is a change in behavior.
These can be big changes, they can be small changes in mood, physical appearance.
They may be sleeping less or sleeping more, drinking more, or their eating patterns may be different.
One big change that can be pretty obvious is change in motivation. Do they no longer want to play basketball? Do they no longer want to play video games?
Now that we're spending more time online and in virtual settings, it's really important to pay attention to the language that your friend is using and the words they're using to communicate.
So when we text our friends, are they taking longer amounts of time to respond? Are they not responding at all? You don't have to be an expert to try to recognize these signs. The second that you feel it in your gut and that you're concerned, that's the second to have the conversation and open the door to what might be going on.
Today, it is easier than ever to join Michigan's Organ Donor Registry and help build a bridge of hope for organ, tissue, and eye donation. Just one person can potentially save or help improve the lives of up to 75 people. By joining, your legacy could be the gift of life. Sign up today at michigan.gov/SOS or at any of the more than 145 Secretary of State self-service stations located across Michigan. Be part of Michigan's Bridge of Hope by adding your name to the Organ Donor Registry.
When times get dark, we can't see the help that's all around us. When you don't know where to turn, let 211 be your guiding light.
How can I help you?
Our guides are ready to connect you with the help you need. For help with food, healthcare, mental health, and other resources. Call 211 or visit 211.org. 211. Get connected, get help.
If you are struggling to afford your internet bills during the pandemic, there's a temporary government program that may be able to help. It's called the Emergency Broadband Benefit, and it provides up to a $50 monthly discount on your broadband bill to qualifying households. Find more information about the program, including if you qualify and how to enroll, at fcc.gov/broadbandbenefit or call toll-free at 833-511-0311.
A public service announcement from 89.3 Lakes FM.
Whether you're the city,
the county,
or the Huron River Watershed Council,
we work together to protect water resources for everyone.
Most of the pollution entering our rivers is carried by rainwater that runs off roads, parking lots, and rooftops.
A rain garden helps catch stormwater runoff.
Rain gardens and their plants help dirty runoff soak into the ground.
You can do your part to help keep our water clean.
Learn about rain gardens and native plants.
So consider a rain garden in your home landscaping.
Catch the runoff with a rain garden.
There's one water, and it's ours to protect.
I couldn't breathe at all. There was lots of talk about putting me on a ventilator. I thought I was gonna die. I was 39 weeks pregnant and had a scheduled C-section. During that time, I got COVID and was hospitalized for a month. I had a blood clot in my lungs. It caused me to go into right-sided heart failure. I was really scared. I kept texting my husband and my mom, telling them how scared I was, and I was worried that he was gonna grow up without a mom. And then I was worried if when I did get home, that he wouldn't know who I was. You know, being 27 and a mom and a wife and having that all almost taken away from me. It's scary, and if a vaccine can prevent that from happening, why not? Get your vaccine. I don't want this to happen to anybody else.
A message from the staff of Michigan's Crime Victim Compensation Program.
Anyone can be a victim of crime
and suffer lasting trauma, physically, emotionally, and financially.
But you are not alone.
If you're struggling financially due to a crime,
we're here
for you.
Find out if you qualify for crime victim compensation.
Call 877-251-7373 or visit michigan.gov/crime-victim.
A message from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, Division of Victim Services.
If you are struggling to afford your internet bills during the pandemic, there's a temporary government program that may be able to help. It's called the Emergency Broadband Benefit, and it provides up to a $50 monthly discount on your broadband bill to qualifying households. Find more information about the program, including if you qualify and how to enroll, at fcc.gov/broadbandbenefit or call toll-free at 833-511-0311.
A public service announcement from 89.3 Lakes FM.
You see certain things get reincarnated in your children. My daughter is very much inspired by my wife's artistic pursuits. So my daughter started making necklaces. She makes what we call affirmation fashion. I tell her every day that your black is beautiful. Your black is beautiful. Your black is beautiful. And if there's anything better than being beautiful, it's being smart. And if there's anything better than being smart, it's being kind. And reaffirming that every day is our method of making sure her chin never drops. My dad wasn't around. And I remember riding a bike and falling off and cutting myself, and me never just wanting to get back on it. People ask, how your children learn how to ride a bike, and you didn't. I didn't teach them. I just created an environment where they taught themselves, and all I had to do was be there.
Welcome back to the Michigan Megacast. I'm Tyler Keefe. To learn more about the program on our website at civiccentertv.com/megacast, where you'll find information about our entire network of stations, including My Michigan TV. We're pleased to be joined now by on the Michigan Megacast by Sanya Weston, founder of Young People Travel Global Edge. Sanya, appreciate you being with us.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Appreciate having you on. So you're the founder of Young People Travel Global Edge. Can you tell us about the organization, its history, and what prompted you to find this organization?
Absolutely. We're excited to have this mission that that we have offered to youth for the past 3 years. Young People Travel Global Edge started as a mission of exposing our youth in the inner city to the world. And by doing that, it was just not a vacation for them, but we wanted to focus on areas that we thought would impact Michigan and also the lives of our youth. So we started programs that will allow them to expand their knowledge and to get exposure on an international stage for entrepreneurship, educational choices, career opportunities, sports, and of course, cultural immersion. This was something that I had a story that I thought that all students and children around the world, especially in Michigan, had an opportunity to travel because I traveled as a kid. But I noticed that was not the fact. And once I started to realize that, I said, what can I do to make a difference so that these students in the city of Detroit can have a global edge as well?
So where are some of the places that the students that have participated in this experience have gone?
So we have had students go to South America, into Asia. We just returned from Dubai, which was an amazing opportunity. And we had students that have gone to the Caribbean islands to do some community service. And we have a schedule for the next 2 years set up where they will be going to Africa. They'll be going back to South America, to Colombia. And then also we have Asia on the schedule again.
So if people are interested, if families are interested in signing their kids up for this program, if the kids are interested and would like to learn more, What is the process for signing people up, signing their kids up or their loved ones up to participate in Young People Travel Global Edge?
Well, the best place to start is our website, which is yptglobaledge.org, and that will open up the world of our activities and our programs that we have throughout the year. Our students don't just travel the world, we actually prepare them to travel through our Learning Journey programs. We have summer camps. We also have programs that are done after school, online, and we are opening up 2 new summer camps in Pontiac and Lansing this year. So we are excited about that. And by going to our website, it will allow you to register for those events and also register as one of our youth ambassadors, which is the cohort of students that get to travel with us.
Upcoming trips include in this summer to Africa, Dakar, and Senegal, in February of 2023 in South America, in Colombia, again, as Sanya had mentioned. We're joined by Sanya Weston, the founder of Young People Travel Global Edge. More information on the website, yptglobaledge.org. That's yptglobaledge.org, or on the Share Detroit platform at sharedetroit.org. Sanya, if people would like to help participate in this organization, help you with the services that you're providing to kids in Detroit, how can people get involved with volunteer opportunities or work opportunities with Young People Travel Global Edge?
Excellent for that, because volunteers is really what keeps us going. So again, they could visit our website, also Share Detroit, assist us with getting some amazing volunteers. So we're always looking for volunteers for our camp. What is a volunteer to us? Someone who has traveled abroad as a student in college, someone that works at a corporation that may have offices in other countries. We love mentors that have experienced travel or worked abroad. So if you are a person that will love to work with our youth and share your international experience, we would love to have you. We have events coming up where we also need volunteers as well. We just finished our 2022 Tea for International Women's Day. So next year, we're always looking for amazing women that represents our mission as well.
Also, virtual opportunities available through Young People Travel Global Edge on their website, yptglobaledge.org. Sanya, just another minute with you before we'll say goodbye. Anything else that we haven't discussed that you'd like to touch on, or other topics that we should be keeping an eye out for with your organization in the near future?
Well, what's important is just having community support. We have an initiative where we would love to have our local corporations to sponsor a student. What's important is to allow our students to see the world, but we want them to bring back those gifts, those conversations, that knowledge, so that we can impact the state of Michigan. We want to keep our talent here in Michigan, but expose them to opportunities that will allow them to have that global edge and have an opportunity to say, hey, what is happening in the world we can bring back, and we can even make our state better, our youth better, our educational opportunities better. So all of our local corporate sponsors, we're always looking for more. Think about an engineer that interns with your company in the UK, and then they come back to work for you here in Michigan. Think about someone that actually plays an instrument and overseas, and then they come back and they're a part of our orchestra here. All those things are definitely will assist our economy. It assists what we have going on with our youth, and I know it will impact the world as well.
Sanya, thank you so much for joining us.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having us.
Appreciate it. The website is yptglobaledge.org, or by visiting sharedetroit.org and looking up Young People Travel Global Edge. Wow, what an interesting edition of this Monday edition of the Michigan Megacast and Oakland County Megacast. Big thank you to all of our guests, including Caroline Rizzo and Dave Scott out at the 2022 Governor's Conference on Travel and Tourism in Michigan. We'll have a lot more programming from there all throughout the week right here on My Michigan TV. Big thank you to our crew as well, making this program possible. Our technical director, Calvin Brown. Our Zoom producer, Jared Clark, at the office of My Michigan TV. The king of television, yes, the king of television, Larry Nyland. And, of course, Maddie Mushkin at Master Control, helping us on and off the air. We'll return tomorrow at 10 a.m.